You know I love making these videos, but when talking toy-grade multirotors, I think I have the lay of the land figured out at this point. Oh yeah, I pretty much identified the key players and what they're about. SKEYE got their geared quadcopters, MGX got their hexacopters, but wait, what is this? Who are you? Reveal yourself! Ah, Top Race. Well, apparently they've actually been around since 2010, but to me, and I think many others, they just recently popped up on the radar. It's a New York-based company targeting mainly the US market. Their website boasts uniquely designed RC vehicles, but from what I can tell, their catalog consists mostly, if not exclusively, of rebrands of already existing and often very recognizable models. Their TRMQ1 looks a lot like the Shearson CX-10. Their TRMQ3 is very reminiscent of the H1 Ninja. Their T-drone bears a striking resemblance to the JJRC JJ1000, and is that the Shearson CX-12? No, of course not, it's the Top Race TRMQ4! Don't get me wrong though, there's nothing wrong or new for that matter with companies rebranding Chinese RC products for their respective local markets, especially if the product happens to be good and the price is fair. There's just nothing new for an enthusiast to get excited about. But wait, what is this? Sorry, no, I won't do the same bit again. Anyway, welcome to this review and flight test of the Hoverdrone Nano from Top Race. First things first, despite its name, the Hoverdrone Nano is not a Nano Hexacopter. The MGX X900 is a Nano Hexacopter. The Revell Nano Hex, which I will try to review shortly, is a Nano Hexacopter. This is more akin to a micro multirotor in size. Here it is compared to the Waging Toys HY852 micro quadcopter. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying it has to be nano size to be any good. It's just a little confusing to the consumer, that's all. With regard to what's actually good or bad with the aircraft, design. To the extent you, like me, actually care about this aspect, I do find it nice. In fact, it's what got me to notice it in the first place. What's the word I'm looking for here? Majestic, gracious, Olympic. Does that make any sense? Mine has a white body with red details and this neat logo on its back. Judging from the box, there is also a green version with dark green details. As an added bonus, notice the rubber landing feet. Not so good is the included transmitter. You're thinking, oh, it's just one of those standard nano transmitters. That's standard. That wouldn't have been exactly good either, but no, see, this is even smaller. Here it is compared to a more standard sized CX-10 transmitter. The CX-10 is the world's smallest quadcopter. If it can have a transmitter this size, then why can't the Hoverdrone Nano, which isn't even a proper nano? Anyway, it's a Mode 2 transmitter, which uses two AAA batteries and offers shoulder buttons for flips and rates, the sticks do not click, as well as trims for pitch and roll. Except for the fact that it's unnecessarily tiny, impeding precision flying and making it difficult for an adult to grip properly, it all works as expected though. The Hoverdrone Nano comes with its battery built in, which is not only negative, because you can't replace it if it fails and you can't keep spares to keep flying when one runs out, but also unusual for a multirotor of this size. Charging the hexacopter takes upwards of an hour, which also seems long. Maybe it has to do with the included charger. It looks suspiciously similar to many of my nano chargers, which are meant for charging smaller batteries in the 100 mAh range. Before I move on to the flight test, I just want to quickly go through the rest of the included accessories. Apart from the transmitter and charger, you get a full set of spare propellers including a prop removal tool and one of those one-piece prop guards. The prop guard comes pre-installed and screws on and off the body on the hexacopter, so no risk of it popping off in a crash. You also get an instruction manual in understandable English, one of the upsides of buying a rebranding I guess, and a sturdy, reusable box. Only downside is the aircraft is held in place by straps, which you have to reattach each time if you want to prevent it from tumbling around in there. Oh, and about it being a rebrand, check this out. I discovered Top Race has literally just put a sticker with their logo over the original brands, which is apparently Helicute. So without a doubt this is also a rebranded Chinese model, although I've never seen it for sale anywhere. Now on to the flight test, before it's time to sum up and give a verdict. Since it came pre-installed, I started off flying the Hoverdrone Nano with the prop guard on, but with this setup I only got around 4 minutes of flight. The aircraft felt generally sluggish and lost a lot of altitude when flipping, so I took the prop guard off. The aircraft still feels a little underpowered, but flight times, responsiveness and flips did improve. My flight times now average around 5 minutes before the LVC warning goes on, at which point you still have time to get back and land. Still, a bit on the short side I think. Even though the flips are much improved with the prop guard off, you don't get away from a delay between when you press the button and when the actual flip occurs, during which time the hexacopter gives the thrust in an attempt to compensate and avoid losing altitude. Overall, the aircraft's handling is passable but unimpressive. The pitch is not particularly deep, meaning it's not particularly fast. All the footage you see here is on the highest of the 3 rates. The yaw rate is static and while not bad, a bit on the slow side. So, you think, it just means this model is geared towards beginners, right? It would seem so, except the main offender with regards to flight characteristics is the Hoverdrone Nano's apparent inability to hold a steady hover. Ironic considering its name. No matter how much calibration and trim I apply, this thing will just not be still in the air without constant adjustment. This, I would say, makes it less suitable for beginners and less suitable for indoor flying, where precise maneuvering is generally a concern. On top of that, or perhaps an extreme manifestation of that, you have the number of instances when this Hex has just totally freaked out mid-flight and taken off in a random direction. Once this happens, only way to stop it is by killing the throttle. Most flights it'll work just fine, but once in a while it strikes and at that point you might as well call it a day because it'll just keep happening again and again. I really tried to get to the bottom of this issue, calibrating it, disassembling it to check soldering and motor mounts, exposing the transmitter antenna hoping to eliminate interference, but no luck. I bought mine from Amazon and when I checked back I did find at least one review there out of a total of 7 where the reviewer had the exact same issue I do. I won't call this a general issue, meaning you may not experience this at all, but instead choose to write it up as shoddy quality assurance. In summation, the top Race Hoverdrone Nano isn't really a top racer, can't hold a proper hover and isn't nano-sized. When it does work, it still gets beat by smaller, cheaper, better handling competition, but sometimes, at least mine, doesn't even do that. Should I get it? I would advise against it. If you're crazy about the miniature hexacopter form factor, instead check out the MGX X900, Revell Nano Hex, or the rest of the competition currently in the pipeline, the JGRC H18 and H20. Alright, thanks for watching all the way to the end. Since you seem to enjoy it, you might want to like this video. Also consider clicking subscribe in order to be notified whenever new reviews become available. If you happen to have a comment correction or know of other new and interesting multirotors you want me to review, let me know in the comments section. See you soon in another review. Bye bye!